Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am making Sura's Parsley, Feta, and Spinach Turkish Pastries. So Sura being one of the bakers from the year of Bake Off that they made this book for. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make the dough and then we're going to have to let it rest for a little bit. So we've got 500 grams of strong white bread flour. I have got my dough hook attachment already set up on my mixer, and so I'm just going to pour my flour in there. Okay, and then I'm also going to add my 7 grams of my fast action dried yeast, my salt and sugar. So I already have 1 teaspoon of salt along with a tablespoon of castor sugar in this little jar, so I'm going to add that. And then my egg, I have 1 large egg today instead of the medium eggs. It did call for a large egg. Okay. Olive oil as well. It's basically just one of those dump recipes. You just dump it all in and then mix it. So I have got 500 or not 500, that would be a lot, 50 milliliters of olive oil in my mix here. And lukewarm water. I have 100 milliliters of lukewarm water. Warm to the touch, not really sure. Lukewarm, I would have maybe preferred a, actual measurement there. All right, and then some warm milk. I've got 100 milliliters of whole milk that I've just had kind of warming up back there. It should be, it's perfect temperature right now. All right. And so now I'm just gonna mix that on a slow speed for 5 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic. So let's give that a try. There's just a little bit in the bowl yet that just does not want to come together with the rest of it. So I know the recipe doesn't say this. Does anybody else have any issues getting their KitchenAid to come off, the bowl to come off? I get this every once in a while. There we go. It just gets stuck on there. Okay, I'm just gonna, I know it doesn't say to do this, but I'm just gonna kind of mix it up a little bit with my hands because it is just not getting that last little bit from the bottom with my dough hook. Okay, I almost want to just keep kneading it, but I've got it all together, but it's far from smooth. And it's been, kneading or mixing for more like closer to 10 minutes, not quite 10 minutes, but I'm going to give it a few more minutes and see what we can, if we can get it to be smooth. I'm going to add just a touch more water. I'm not even sure if this is a teaspoon, but I'm just hoping that it just needs just a hair more liquid to come together, because it's not coming together as well, and it's definitely not going to be smooth at this rate. So okay, it is smoother. It's definitely more like a smooth dough. It still doesn't necessarily want to come together as well as doughs I've had in the past. I mean, you can kind of see, I don't know. And it's definitely not elastic. I mean, it does not pull at all. So I think I'm just going to add just a hair more water. So it's more smooth. Still not very elastic, but I'm afraid of overworking the dough at this point. So I'm just going to hope for the best. Because I don't know. The water got all incorporated in there. Yeah, it's pretty stiff. I don't know. Haven't made these before. I haven't made any sort of enclosed pastry like this before. But what I've got to do now is just kind of let it rise for an hour and a half, anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half until it's doubled in size, which seems like a pretty big window to me. But I'm going to cover it up and let it rise. Okay, so the dough for my Turkish pastries is just about there. So we're just going to work on the filling a little bit while it's finishing up. So these are spinach, parsley, and feta pastries. So we need to get that all going. So I've got spinach, 200 grams of baby spinach, and I need to pour just boiled water over the spinach. It says a kettle of just boiled water. I happen to have a tea kettle, so I have that with water that literally just boiled. So I'm going to pour that over the spinach until it wilts. Okay, I'm assuming that'll be obvious. So I'll put this in my sink, and then we're just gonna pour it over until it wilts. I mean, it's, getting smaller. Is that wilting? Smells like spinach. Right. Well, that is all the water in my kettle, so it's going to have to do. Now, just to press out the water. Here's the funny thing. It says to use a kitchen towel. Is that a paper towel? Literally, no, kitchen paper. It says kitchen paper. Is that a paper towel? I didn't Google it. I just assumed it's a paper towel. Okay. Seems to be mostly devoid of the extra moisture. So we'll see. So what I'm supposed to do with this spinach now is put it on a chopping board and chop it, obviously. Try to remove a little extra moisture too while I'm at it. So I'm going to chop roughly is what it says. I can do it rough chop. To me, that is a rough chop. Then I need to place in a mixing bowl. So from one thing to another. Okay. Okay. So from my mixing bowl, I need to add my parsley and my feta. So I have 200 grams of baby spinach before I washed it and everything. Or, washed baby spinach, 200 grams. And then I have 15 grams of flat leaf parsley, which is Italian parsley. And it's finely chopped. And then I have 200 grams of feta cheese. Okay. And then it says to break it up with a fork. Some of my feta has some pretty big chunks, so that makes sense. Of course, it doesn't say to mix it, it just says break it up with a fork. So is that just the feta I'm breaking up? These are things I think about. Maybe I'm too precise. I don't know. Okay. Add lemon zest. So I've got a lemon, and I'm going to zest the whole lemon in there. All right. Now I'm realizing I really love the smell of freshly grated lemon. The zest, I guess, is probably the better explanation. Okay. And cumin. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin in this, which I think is going to add a very interesting dynamic to this, but We shall see. And then we need to add a good grinding of black pepper. Okay, seemed like a good grinding to me. Again, I like specifics. I'm that kind of person. And then mix with a fork until roughly combined. I can do roughly. Now, I said a minute ago with the dough, I have not done a filled pastry before. The most I've done is like a cinnamon roll or something, you know, where you put a filling or a topping to it, but you don't really like encase it. I don't know. They've never stayed encased if I've tried, and I've definitely never done a savory one. So this will be good. It's also Lent, so you know, if you need that meat-free option for Fridays, this is seeming to be a good option here. Mixed. I need to turn out my dough onto a lightly floured surface, so I need to get my surface area ready. I only have so big of a kitchen, so I kind of have to reorganize in between stages. All right, so I'm going to turn out my dough. It has risen. It looks about double in size, and it has been an hour and a half. I waited the whole hour and a half. So I just need to turn it out onto my work surface, and we are going to roll it into a sausage, a long, fat sausage. Okay. And I don't know if that means like roll it. I have my rolling pin out, but I think it just means like this. My dough doesn't really need all that much flouring on it. It's not the kind of dough that you would like, I would think. I don't know. I don't know why mine didn't come together like it should. Okay. So I need to divide this into 16 pieces. Now it does give me 50 grams a piece, which I appreciate greatly. So I'm going to actually try to get 50 grams out of these. So I have my measuring. Let's see how close I can get. Oh, that was too big. 13 grams too big. Perfect, 50 grams. Okay, so that gives me an idea. Way too big. Okay, those are pretty close to 50. Some are a couple grams over, some are a couple grams under. Yeah. And then I need to shape each into a round about 10 centimeters in diameter, about 4 inches, which is going to look about like the pizzas that I did, the mini pizzas. So we're going to roll those out. Well, I tell you what, some of those were a lot easier to roll out than others. And I'm a little tired. It's a stiff dough. Again, I don't know if mine is right. It just feels a little funny. We'll see. I'm hoping it turns out well. Anyway, so I need to place small equal amounts of filling in the center of each round, and then pull up the dough and kind of cover it, Phil, so that it stays inside. So I'm just gonna lay these out. Man, some of them are not very round. Yeah, the dough just feels funny. Like I've made quite a few different types of dough recipes. This doesn't feel exactly like anything I've worked with. Maybe that's what it's supposed to do. I don't know. We'll see. If somebody else makes it before I get a chance to try this again, and you tell me that I have a way weird looking dough, awesome, tell me that, because I'd like to know that it should be easier than what I've got going on. Alright, so I'm just going to try to plop equal amounts into the middle of some of these, and we'll go from there. So they all have filling now. Yeah, now we just need to, I'm going to read exactly what it says, how to pinch them. Pull the dough up over the filling and pinch to seal. They'll be oval in shape. And then flatten slightly. Okay. I tell you what, I was doing a lot of shaking my head during that. I mean, they're already coming apart, some of them. They're so not going to hold together. I can only hope that when they rise, because I've got to leave them to rise for another hour, I can only hope that they'll somehow seal themselves up. So I've got baking trays. It doesn't say whether to have the baking tray lined or not. So I just went ahead and lined mine because that's just how I roll anymore. I need to place them seam side down. They look a lot prettier seam side down, don't they? So there's those. I don't know. They're just going to come out all over the place. Oh well. Maybe I'll just put it in that nailed it category. Yeah, I mean, that one is just busting. Anyway. I mean, they're so different in shape. I could not roll them into circles. I just never have been able to do that. So, oh well. All right, so I'm going to place them in a proving bag to leave to prove for an hour. Again, I just can't find proving bags in the States. I don't know if they don't exist or if I just don't know where I'm looking. But I'm going to use just a big bag. It should get it most of the way closed. And I'm going to leave them set like that for an hour, and then we'll bake them. An hour has passed. They have risen quite a bit. So I'm just going to get them out of the bags and get them ready to go in the oven. Okay, yeah, they're kind of soft. Okay, back up, sweetie. I need to get these in.
But I want to touch them too.
Well, we have to bake them. Okay? All right, back up. All right, my oven is at 390 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 200 degrees Celsius, and we're going to bake them for about 20 minutes. All right, so my timer is not quite off yet. It was only about 17 minutes, but these look done. All right, yeah, those definitely look really good and browned. Some of them did leak out. I can kind of hear it sizzling, but I'm going to give them just a couple minutes to cool, and then we'll give one a try. Okay, let's give one of our Turkish pastries a taste. They looked really good. They came out, like I said, it only took them about 17 minutes to cook, but they have a really good color. They actually sealed up quite a bit better than I thought they were going to. I mean, the whole recipe, I was like freaking out about, how they were going to turn out, and they actually look really good. And there's just a couple of them where it leaked out a little bit, but it's not all that bad. And they still are pretty solid. So anyway, let's break one open. Let's see. Okay, so clearly you can see our spinach and the feta is in there. Looks good. Got a nice structure. So, you know, a little bit of an air pocket in there, which maybe there should be a little bit more filling, but oh well. All right. Smells really good. Let's give it a taste. It has a nice like outer shell, and then you bite into the like soft bread. But then the lemon, surprisingly enough, the lemon just kind of takes over your mouth, which is pleasant. Tastes good. Yeah, very good. I like that a lot. Very different. And it's like kind of a perfect grab and go meal. You know, you got cheese, you got spinach, you got a bread. It's like a sandwich on the run, but very good. A little time consuming, you know, just between the different rises and stuff. But yeah, if you have the time, it's worth an effort. You could probably try some different filling. But yeah, very good. I don't really taste the cumin, so that's a little strange, but maybe next time. But that is the latest bake on my baking challenge. If you are new to the channel, go watch some of the other videos, subscribe so you can see when the next video does come out, and share these with your friends. Let them know how a Turkish pastry tastes. But anyway, I'll see you next week.